thank you for joining us here at the What You've Been Watching podcast. I am your host, the totally tubular.
There it is.
Marvelous Mike Dudley.
There it is. I've missed those descriptions.
Joined as always by my cohort and younger brother,
MD3 Marcus Dudley, checking in on you live from the shadows of Bragg Memorial Stadium down here in Tallahassee, Florida. What's going on out there on podcast land? Thank you for joining us.
Oh, that's a local reference. You gotta know the area to get that one.
That's right.
You're zeroing in on our location. I don't like it.
I know.
Selling secrets.
We're out here somewhere in the general Leon County area. But we're also up in your ear holes. We thank you for joining us. Michael, my brother, what you been up to, man? How's life?
It's been going good, man. It's been going real good. Work has been on the uptake. Currently talking to a lady, so we'll see how that one goes.
Okay.
I don't want to give a shout out now because, we'll find out. She might have a penis. I don't know.
Even so.
I mean, that's cool. That's cool,
Yeah.
baby. But you tried to grease me up, and that was too
trying
cool.
to oil me up, and that's not cool. Go ahead and check that bingo box for your ladies' man reference. We're just going to hit you full throttle today.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hit the ground running.
Yeah, man. I am doing wonderful myself because I know you're about to ask. But, yep. Florida State trounced Miami.
I know what you've been watching.
Oh, yeah. But I won't spend too much time on that. But yeah, go Noles. We embarrassed Miami down there.
Just saying it sucks to be you.
Yes, it does indeed. So my brother, before we get into all of that, here's the $1 million question. Here's the one that everybody tunes in for. The aptly named title of the show. What you been watching, my guy?
Recently rewatched No Country for Old Men.
Amazing movie.
I mean, I tell you what, man. I think those Coen brothers, those young upstarts, they're ones to watch.
We've circled back to it to update you after watching Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Maybe there's something to these young cats. No, it's somebody I know like favorite movie.
I'm sure
it's on TV.
I'm sure it's
they
a lot
just
of people's favorite movies. Yeah,
they can't help themselves to watch it if it's on.
It's wonderfully, beautifully shot. It's filmmaking minimalism at its best. In a way that's not really seen a lot. Like, everything on screen is so simple and so, like, there's not a wasted item on screen. Does that make sense? Like, essentially, sometimes it's just one person looking at another one, but the use of screen and space and time, like, there's no wasted momentum that entire movie.
Yeah, every pause in there is...
Sorry, I'm going to say that again so I don't snap over it. There's no wasted momentum on that movie.
No, you're good. Yeah. We like our hand gestures here at What You've Been Watching. You can tell those guys know what they're doing, man. The timing of that, and those two, Josh Brolin and Javier Bardem, are so locked into what they're doing on that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's... Those two, it's a masterclass, and those two guys executed it perfectly. So,
and I love how essentially it's a cat and mouse story. It's the great western of the bounty hunter trying to collect on the outlaw, and then of course you have the evergreen, perennial good guy sheriff who just wants to do the right thing and isn't looking for fame or glory, just wants justice in the world. And then the last 10 minutes, it just spirals into nihilism where Tommy Lee Jones just walks away and he's like, nope, I don't understand this world anymore. I'm done.
yeah, I just walked into, a straight bloodbath.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, but, Josh Brolin dies and Javier Bardem sort of kind of gets away, but not really. And, like, it's a whole fucking thing. Like...
Yeah, I'll say this. The scene where Josh Brolin is running from the dog, when he sees the dog swims across the river, that fucking dog is so locked. That is such a tense scene because that dog is steady moving in that river, just coming. And he's trying to clean his gun and get it to work.
Oh, it's like Jaws.
Oh, and the second that dog lunges, bow! Like, that is one of the most tense scenes you will ever see. It is so good. And whoever that...
I would say one of my favorite scenes in that is when... Javier Bardem's character, Anton Chigurh, captures Woody Harrelson's character. I can't remember his name.
It's Woody Harrelson.
But it's Woody Harrelson. But they have that whole showdown in Woody Harrelson's hotel room. And it's just Javier Bardem being like, you're fucked. There's no way out of this. There's nothing you can do. Just tell me what I want to know and you can die with some dignity. And like Woody Harrelson tries all these different angles of like, listen, I know where the money is. We can go get it. I can just walk away, whatever it is you want to do. And like, as soon as the phone rings and Javier Bardem knows that it's Josh Brolin's character calling to check in with the Woody Harrelson character, he's like, the look on his face, he's just like, I know I'm fucked. I got nothing left. Like, that was the one ace in the hole I had, and it just got played. He just saw my card. I'm fucked.
Yep. He's incredible in that movie, man.
It's so real. Like, everybody in that is phenomenal.
The first time you see the movie and you see Josh Brolin buy the hotel, both suites, one right next to the other, and he slides it through and you're like, oh shit, this dude is on. Because he knows, he's like, when he leaves, what's his name's Marielle or something like, what's his name in it? Luell, yeah. And he leaves his wife or whatever, and she kind of knows that, like, what did you do? It's like, and he knows, like, all right, this is going to be a journey to the end. So.
Oh, and every time he calls in with the wife, she calls him on, like, immediately. Her first line is always calling him on his bullshit. Like, the first time he calls, she's like, you in trouble, ain't you? And he's like, yeah, a little bit. Next time he calls and he's been shot, she's like, you hurt, ain't you? He's like, yeah, a little bit. Third time, she's like, you ain't coming home, are you? He's like, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, the money's definitely not with the money. No, that's such a good movie, man. But how did you feel about the ending of that movie the first time you saw it? Because a lot of people loved the movie up to that point and thought it was incredibly anticlimactic. I loved it personally because it's just the fact that you see it through Tommy Lee Jones's lens, and he's just like, I don't understand this world anymore. Like, I just walked into
admittedly, it did take me the second or third time viewing it to really latch onto it. But that being said, his character lays the groundwork through the entire movie. Like, he's constantly reading the paper and talking about, like, look at this, you know, this couple was taking hitchhikers and backpackers outside of Dallas and torturing them and this, that, the other. Like, I just don't understand this world. Then he has another conversation with, you know, one of the older, like the old sheriff of the small West Texas town. Both of them have a conversation about, like, you know, I see all these green hairs and piercings and, you know, punkers walking around, and I don't understand this, and everybody's okay with, you know, like, whatever happened to common decency. So it really is a story about the dying of the West, and so sort of the old cowboy throwing his hands up at the last minute and being like, you know what? The West is done. I don't understand this world anymore. But he's already sort of acknowledged that. Like, he the entire movie, he's acknowledging that he has one foot out the door anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I think that was really well described. Yeah, it's like, you know, they're renovating these towns, these ghost towns, for gold anymore. We have a Federal Reserve now, and it's just like, it's not what you think it is, and your way of life is slowly leaving you. But it's a brilliant movie, though, man. I think it's a lot like, they're a little bit more direct than that movie, I think, but it's a lot like The Godfather, like you were saying, in the sense of, like, every pause, there's a lot of subtleties, very, like you said, looks on characters' faces that says a lot without them saying it.
Yes.
That upon your first viewing might kind of throw you off, but upon viewing it again after you know what happens, you can really pick up on some of the subtleties and hand motions and, like, the way that Javier Bardem is fucking with people. And he really is just out of, like, he loves the act of killing. This isn't just like, you can tell he is enjoying what he's doing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He is a weapon that is, this kind of like they talk about in Hawkeye, where he's like, I'm a weapon, you just got to point me in the right direction.
Right.
And that's what this guy is. It's like, oh, this dude's a maniac. They just have control of whatever this mafia is or this cartel has over him. They're just pointing him in the right direction. But he is very much so. This isn't like a, hey, buddy, this is just a job. I got to do what I got to do. He is right at home doing this the entire movie.
He's a surgeon. He knows exactly where to cut around to get to the end result that he needs. But in the same breath, he's not afraid to. In a weird way, he's a man of his word, because he tells Llewellyn, you know, you can prevent this. If you bring me the money right now, I promise you I will leave your wife out of this. But if I have to track you, I'm going to go through her. And even if I catch up to you or you catch up to me before that happens, I'm still going to go after her because I promised you I would. And he damn sure does.
And he damn sure does. Yeah. He does, Josh Brolin does plug him with that shotgun, though. I love that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Where then he goes and sets fire to the car at the pharmacy. That's such a bad... Yeah, he plugs his ass, though, one time.
That's right.
He's like, oh, this dude can bleed. But no, that's a great movie, though, man. So, eye out for those Coen brothers. What would you rate it? No Country for Old Men.
I'm going to rate it, let's see. one rusty sheriff's badge.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
I don't mean that in the butthole sense. I mean that in the, like,
the
old
actual,
Western sense.
Yeah. That was a nice play on words there. See what you did there. Man, well, what else?
I mean, other than that, man, just trying to kick up on my Battlestar Galactica. I won't bore you with that because, you know...
You circle back to it finally?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't help yourself.
I mean, I'm 3.5 seasons into it, or I'm sorry, 2.5 seasons into it. Like, I got to finish the last season and a half. I just have to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
At this point, it's out of obligation and a need of completion.
Yep. No, I get it. Yeah, I've been, let's see, I haven't been doing much on that regards. I have been watching a little bit of AquaTeen Hunger Force.
Nice.
Which is always good. Still playing the Dragon Quest 8. And AquaTeen's my jam, though, man. AquaTeen is legitimately, that shit built Adult Swim. It was like that and C-Lab and some of those early shows, like the Brack Show and stuff like that.
Yeah, Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Yeah, like the real early stuff.
What was the Johnny Quest knockoff?
Venture Bros.
Venture Brothers.
That was a little bit later, but that was still pretty early on. And that got canceled, came back a bunch of times. Right. I actually have been dabbling in that, but those shows, man, like Adult Swim would not be what it was if it wasn't for those, man. Like Space Ghost Coast to Coast was a hit.
Oh, yeah.
And Adult Swim only used to run for like a few hours, like Friday, Saturdays, whatever it was. And then it was, you get the Brack Show, and like Zorak had his interview show for a little bit. And then it was AquaTeen and C-Lab 2021.
Mm-hmm. Frisky Dingo came like,
that
was way later.
Yeah, and then they started knocking out, like once they really got to be able to syndicate Family Guy, that's when that really was like, okay, we can do Futurama and Family Guy and American Dad. And that's when it was like, then we can throw some of our more obscure shows on in the midnight slot and that was like when all the new AquaTeens were coming out.
Right.
And then they're like, oh, we can start playing anime on Saturdays, and that's just what it was, and it took off. But those early shows, those AquaTeens and stuff, if you like your Rick and Mortys and you like all your other Adult Swim shows, your Boondocks, you got to go back and pay homage. But yeah, so I've been going back and watching some of those, the early seasons especially. It's my jam, and I put it on a while ago, and Angie was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, it's the Aqua TV show, baby. Aqua TV show. Oh, man. Yeah, that's a great one. I watched a little bit of Robot Chicken, too. Been watching kind of mindless stuff again, keeping up with sports. I mentioned it earlier, watched the Seminoles deal out a crushing blow to the Miami Hurricanes, which was just poetry. I love the fact, and I'm not going to bore you guys with making this a sports podcast, but ultimately what brought me great joy is that there were so many recruits for Miami in the building, and Florida State was like, I'm going to tell you that you shouldn't go to that school down there, and for the next hour, I'm going to show you why. And boy, did they show them 45 points to 3 later. It was like, ooh.
Yeah, they got campuses on the beach, but hold my beer.
Yeah. And they just trounced them. That place was empty as fuck by about the midway through the second quarter. It was empty.
I left work probably like right at the beginning of the third quarter. Like we that's when we finally started shutting down. I passed by the TVs and was just looking at the vastness, the empty stands, all of them painted orange and green, and I was like, oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Listen, I'm not huge on football and sports balls and things like that. But when FSU trounces Miami, especially 45-3, I got to take a little joy in that.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to see my city get its own, so...
Yeah, and we haven't seen it a lot. Just 2 years ago, they fucking hammered us, so just within 2 years, we've swung it around, so... And I know blowouts are boring as shit to watch.
Right, but the 92 team, though, right? 92 team, 92.
Yeah, no, but fucking... blowouts are not fun to watch unless it's your team. But if it is your team against your hated rival, pile them up. Right. Drop a 50 burger on them next time. So I've been kind of busy with that, just trying to keep up with work, and did go watch that documentary about the Eagles maybe this year again. And I will say my description of it was perfect. And again, I think anybody could enjoy it. It doesn't hurt you to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan, but it is I think in my personal opinion, it is a good documentary. I think anybody can watch. I mentioned on the podcast before, I got into documentaries about speed running in video games, where ultimately what speed running is people trying to beat a video game as fast as humanly possible.
Right.
And before I watched one that just kind of popped up on my YouTube feed, I didn't give a fuck about the history of it. but the way that the information was presented made it really accessible. And you're like, oh, I was hooked. I was like, this is the most captivating thing, and human beings are incredible. The fact that we can match Mario and beat it as fast as humanly possible, like
down to the frame rate.
Yeah, to the frame rate.
Cycles and
Shout out to Summoning Salt on YouTube if you're interested. He has really good ones. I want to just give a shout out what I've been watching, but but same thing with the Eagles documentary. It's interesting to see how it affects a city as a whole through the lens of about 4 people. But watch that again in my excitement.
I mean, I've always said that if you get Sigourney Weaver or David Attenborough to
what's his name,
Morgan Freeman, to narrate something.
I almost said Tracy Morgan. Now see these penguins.
See how they trying to make love? See how they slapping their belly? That's the mating call.
I love Tracy Morgan. Talk about a guy who's just naturally funny. That guy. Anyways, go ahead.
But I've always said, if you get one of those people to narrate something, like, it could be on how to make shoelaces, and I'd be like, you have me for the next 30 minutes, sir. Please.
Yeah.
I want to hear Tracy Morgan doing narration.
I won't do it.
Look at the majestic whale.
Living. Did you know that whales? Anyways, that's enough impersonation.
Do you know the blue whale has the biggest penis of any animal on the earth?
Yeah. Check the bad.
Check the size of that, living.
Go ahead and check your bingo box for bad Tracy Morgan impression. Wasn't on there before, but it is now. You might get it once an episode because that's really fun to do. Did I mention I watched Rush Hour last podcast?
I don't think you did.
Bro, went back and watched Rush Hour. If I haven't, I'll talk about it briefly just in case I talked about it last one. I don't remember. Fucking incredible movie. Perfectly cast.
Was it?
Dude, Rush Hour is perfectly cast. Like, Chris Tucker is brilliant in that. Fucking Jackie Chan is, I will say this, one of the greatest entertainers.
Oh, hands down.
We have ever been graced with.
Hands down.
Whether he's serious or not, or we watched Super Cop as well. That's what got me. Super Cop's that shit now. Michelle Yeoh's that.
Fuck Fred Astaire.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But no,
fuck Marlon Brando.
For real, like, in terms of if a movie actor's his ability.
Charlie Chaplin's a hack.
He's a hack. He's a bum. Buster Keaton, bunch of fucking hobos out there tripping around in silent film.
W.C. Fields can kiss my ass.
Right. But no, if you talk about just in terms of like sheer entertainment,
I love that all of our references are like 1920s talkies.
Marx Brothers, ass out there. Abbott Costello,
fuck them.
But no, in all seriousness, no. But like, if you talk about just in terms of longevity of Jackie Chan, dude's been doing it since he was in Enter the Dragon.
Oh yeah,
like he's been hit after hit after hit, and given his body and mind to you, the people, for decades, and he fucking brings it every time. And Rush Hour is brilliant. Like,
well, I mean, you don't get to the Tony Jaa's of the world. You don't get to the Tom Cruises of the world. You don't get to any of the modern, the Matrix. It all starts with Jackie Chan.
Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan.
Bruce Lee kicked open the door, but Jackie Chan was the one who came in and was like, oh, this is how you pave the golden road. This is it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he's so well liked. Like, I've never met anybody that's like, oh, fuck that movie. Like, Jackie Chan's that dude, man.
Yeah,
everybody likes him.
Yeah.
He seems really fun in all of his interviews and everything. Like, he's that dude. But Rush Hour, again, I know it might be played out because you might remember it, but just going back and listening to some of the jokes that I haven't heard in a while, Chris Tucker is perfectly cast in that movie. He really is. When he's like, they offer him a badge to be on the FBI, and he's like, all right, go ahead and take that badge, and you just shove it up in your ass. All up in your ass. I'm LAPD, man. He just walks off. It was fucking brilliantly delivered. All up in your ass. And the look he gives him, brilliant. And the fact that he's like, Lee! 40% of that movie is just him yelling Lee.
Him just reactionary
Lee!
shots.
Yeah. I'm gonna kick you. Which one of y'all hit me? He's so quick with it. He's really perfectly cast. So, talk about it as an entertaining movie all the way around. Go back and watch Rush Hour. I'm gonna go back and watch 2 and 3.
Was that the Brett Ratner joint?
Brett Ratner joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. He did the Rush Hour trilogy, which allegedly
did he do all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, that's his big claim to fame. At one point, Chris...
Well, I mean, he's got a few other claims to fame. I mean, let's not...
Yeah. No, that's...
No, it's also Brett Ratner.
No. Wait, oh yeah. No, you're thinking of who's the David Singer?
But also Brett Ratner.
Oh yeah, they were both in it. Oh yeah. Well, maybe then. Yeah, he's got a couple other infamous claims. But yeah, no, that movie's fucking great though. But yeah. So other than that though, speaking of ninjas and action and things like that,
that's a hell of a segue, sir.
I know, man. But we were talking about kung fu. We are going to take a trip back into time. Come with us as we go back to the early 90s when ninjas were all of the rave. When you could not get away from ninjas being on your television screen, whether it be Batman or the Power Rangers. Or, and yes, Batman's a ninja. Yeah. Or the Power Rangers. Or Three Ninjas. Or Surf Ninjas.
Big Bad Beetleborgs.
Yep, all of that. We are talking about a series, a franchise that is so dear to everyone in my generation's heart, and one that has stood the test of time, that has continually made new films and new fans. And it's one of those things where even when you see it and you go, okay, well, I can tell that this version of this franchise isn't for me, you still know in your heart that you're glad that it's still around.
Right.
What could we be talking about? If you haven't figured it out by the title, we are talking about the great franchise, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Turtle power!
That's right. The heroes in a half shell themselves. Michael and I have done the hard work, the arduous task, the scientific research of going back and watching not only one Ninja Turtles films, not just two.
Not two.
Ninja Turtles films.
But hit them with it.
All three of the original Ninja Turtle films, a trilogy. And we are here to
That's over 88 minutes of research.
Just for you. Oh, man. But yeah, that is what we are going to talk about today. Where do you want to start, man? What you want to do?
I mean, let's start at the beginning, and when we reach the end, stop.
That's right. You're going to hear a little bit of paper shuffling as we pass notes around, so please bear with us on that. We don't have a better system for this yet, because we're not technologically sound like that.
Listen, you know what this was. You like it dirty.
You know. Look. So we'll start at the first movie, and we're not just going to go movie for movie. We're just going to kind of talk all three as a whole. We might touch on them specifically at times, but we're not going to play beat for beat.
So I'm actually going to go a little bit before that and talk about the very beginning. We're going to talk about March 1984, the very first comic printing of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series by Eastman and Laird.
Yes, brilliant.
It was originally designed to be sort of a parody send-up of everything that was happening in Marvel at the time. Literally, the ooze that transformed the Ninja Turtles is rumored to be the exact same ooze that gave Daredevil his powers in the same accident.
Bet y'all didn't know that, by the way.
Bet you didn't know that, nerd. They fight the Foot Clan, and Daredevil fought the Hand. Yep. Splinter is
Stick.
Right. Daredevil was trained by a man named Stick. Even Shredder is a little bit supposed to be derivative of Kingpin in terms of Japanese mafia kind of thing. So 1984 original comic book comes out. 1987 the TV show comes out, which is I think where you and I originally got into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was through the cartoon series.
I was born in 86. All right.
Okay.
And so I don't remember a time in my life that the Ninja Turtles weren't a part of it.
Right.
Like some of my earliest like stuffed animals, I had a giant Michelangelo that was like a body pillow.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. That's right.
Yeah, I still have them somewhere. Every toy I remember having, because Michael was also into that as well. I've always had Ninja Turtles toys my whole life. If we had video on this podcast, you could see that in the closet directly behind Michael is a box full of toys that, again, in my childish youth, that I still maintain, refuse to throw away. There's Ninja Turtles in there right now. I remember watching on VHS Ninja Turtles cartoons, and I also had the original Superman cartoons with Faster Than a Speeding Bullet.
Right. Yeah, the old 1940s.
So it's Max Fleischman?
Yeah. Max Fleischman, yeah.
Max Fleischman cartoons. I remember those and having Ninja Turtles. But Ninja Turtles was also being aired on Fox like constantly. So I had a healthy diet. As long as I can remember, the Ninja Turtles have been a part of my life. So
I remember like riding bikes in the neighborhood, and you would look at your like Casio Ninja Turtles, flip head watch, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, it's 3:50. Ninja Turtles is on in 10 minutes." And whatever you were doing that day, you stopped. You went to the nearest friend's house or your house or wherever it was, and you went and watched Ninja Turtles. Like, it was literally the thing that would stop all the kids in the neighborhood. Like, nope, it's 4 o'clock. Got to go see what those wacky turtles are up to this week.
And they were up to no good. And speaking of which, I was just being born in 96 or 86 was dope as hell. Because Batman came out in 89.
Uh-huh.
We had Ninja Turtles that were already a thing. The Power Rangers hit in like 91. Batman the Animated Series hit in like 91. It's like my whole life, those things were cool as shit. Like, I was the target audience for shit that was rad as hell, and is still rad as hell to this day.
You have had a pretty radical life, dude.
Like, Batman 89 was out, and it was the thing to do. It wasn't like there was no quiet being a Batman fan. So, like, maybe that's why I've always been so proud about this, because I hit it like this golden time of like, oh shit, some of this stuff's cool as hell. It went away for a long time, but
sure.
Anyways,
yeah, during the mid '90s, early 2000s,
yeah, I got tough for a while there. Became roaring back.
Now who's the champion?
Right. But yeah, so sorry, I know I stole a lot of your thunder there, but the comic book came out.
Yeah, comic book came out in '84. TV series came out in '87 and ran for, I want to say, like 5 seasons. Don't quote me on that. But I say all that just to give you the prequel, the run-up to where we're going to talk about, and that is the very first Ninja Turtles movie, circa 1990. Directed by Steve Barron, who, trivia, was also the director of...
Hold on, give him a second to think about it. It's 2 very iconic music videos.
Think about what music videos... I wish I had the research up right now, I'd tell you. But mid-'80s bangers.
Straight bangers. Classic. Not just that, but the music videos themselves are absolutely iconic.
Think about it.
Hit them with that.
Take On Me by A-ha.
Yep.
And Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
That guy directed the Ninja Turtles movie. There's some trivia I bet you didn't know, because we didn't either.
But you hear that? You know what that is? That's research. That's what that is.
Putting in the man hours.
So you don't have to.
Yep.
So yeah, dude, let's get into it. What were your thoughts on the first movie?
Okay. I'll say it how I loved it as a kid. Mm-hmm. And I watched it again, and I fucking love this movie still. The first one is a fucking great movie.
Yes.
Ninja Turtles 1, I don't care. It holds up, man. Like, I really don't care. Like, yes, obviously, there's live action stuff, whatever, that they could do better now. But, like, in terms of Jim Henson doing his thing in the play shop that they have, yeah, I mean, you can see that progress throughout the other movies that it's gotten better in some ways. But, like, this movie fucking rules, man. Like, if you suspend your disbelief that they're not puppets and you just accept them as being real characters, they really do kind of ground them, and each one of them has a distinct personality, and you can tell the whole family dynamic between each of the Turtles and Splinter. And I fucking love this movie, though. Like, and this is not just my childhood nostalgia. It is, because I can't stop it with the Turtles. But I legitimately went back and watched this movie and was like, damn, that movie really holds up, man.
You're not wrong. Again, I'm gonna endorse all of what you just said. I think it's a really well crafted movie. It's not breaking any new ground by any stretch of the imagination, but at least it's done competently, and at least it's like the progression of shots makes sense. The editing makes sense. Like you have a real awareness of progression of story and where you fit into it. You know, and quite frankly, aesthetically, it looks really good. Like you were talking about, just suspend your disbelief. It's not that hard to do, because the costumes are, for what they were at the time, really, 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 really good. Like the facial expressions and the fact that they could individually move the turtles' lips and eyelids and teeth and you know all that good stuff, and show all this wide range of emotion. And then on top of it, you had, you know, people who were performing, you know, quote unquote ninja moves. You know, it's very highly stylized, you know, drop kicks and rolls and stuff like that. But like, they're moving around like an agile, you know, athletic person, and so it kind of makes sense that like you buy into like, oh no, these are actual real creatures.
Yeah, I mean, they're 70-pound rubber suits and animatronics as well, but I mean, it fucking holds up though, man. Like I dug this movie. I was in it from the word jump. Like, again, I fired up and I felt like I was at home again. So where do you want to go from there? Let's think. What did you like about it? Like, besides, I know you talked about it being aesthetically pleasing, but like, what is it that, did it just tickle a nostalgia feel is why you liked it? Or did
Of course.
Yeah, again,
we wouldn't be talking about it if we didn't. But I actually do like that it's a really well-told origin story that, although the original market, well, the comic book was not so much for kids, but the cartoons and stuff like that got marketed towards kids, and then the movie came out. I like that it leaned into both aspects of that in terms of it kept it just lighthearted enough and quippy enough, and Michelangelo and Donatello making like stupid puns and joking back and forth, but then also you bring in one of them almost gets killed, and Splinter's origin story of loss and tragedy and seeing his master killed in front of his eyes. Like they blended enough of the comic book and the cartoon version to make it a palatable flavor across all ranges.
Yeah, it definitely does have dark elements to it in the sense of, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but like when the second movie was made, parents everywhere were like, or not everywhere, but a lot of parents were like, oh, it's too violent. And they took out the word ninja when they shipped it overseas to the UK because they thought that it promotes violence, and like Michelangelo's nunchucks were banned.
Yeah, they were the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
Yeah.
Because they thought ninja was too aggressive, basically.
Yeah, and so, but it definitely leans into it, man. Like there's a scene later on. Watch the movie if you haven't, because we're not going to wait.
That shit was awesome.
That shit was dope. I don't care what you said. That shit was dope. But like the scene, and you were talking about like they do ground the turtles as best they can into being real characters, and like the scene where Raphael's yelling into the nothingness of New York. That shit gives me chills, man.
Oh, when he gets his ass kicked by Casey Jones, and Casey Jones runs away, and he's like, "Come here, I'm not finished with you." Damn! And like they just draw out on the like wide shot of the city skyline and stuff, and so you hear it like echo throughout all the entire city.
There's also a scene where he just yells like this unbridled like rage just comes from.
Oh, after they kidnap Splinter.
Yeah, after they kidnap Splinter, and he just like, I just got goosebumps thinking about it. But he like screams, and the camera kind of spins with him and vibrates. And he just lets it all out, and you feel for that fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, because you can't just say that turtle. He is, but he's so much more. But you feel for him in that moment, man, and that's such a good scene, dude. And like again, like you can only do so much with acrobatics in a 70-pound suit. Like again, they're trying their best, but man,
sure.
But
again, they also do a really good job of. The creators of the movie really understood how to hide their flaws and highlight the benefits or their best aspects. Like generally when the turtles are talking, it's pretty usually in heavy shadow, so that you can see like if the animatronic lips don't exactly match up with the ADR, it's okay because they're all in shadow, so nobody's paying attention to it. But then on wide shots, you have turtles flipping around and doing cartwheels and tumbling and stuff like that. Like some of the kicks and punches that they throw look kind of like restricted and kind of weak,
telegraphed a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but they're still doing the thing.
Right.
It's still some poor Hong Kong actor in a 5 foot tall suit doing the best that they can, and it looks really, really good. And like I said, I like some of the real life technical special effects more than I like a lot of the CGI effects that have come later.
Yeah, me too. I would agree with you on that one. Also, after seeing the CGI ones, like again, I said earlier, I'm glad that whatever iteration of the Turtles is currently on the market now. I'm never like, oh, that's not my Turtles. Like, it's not, but I'm also just like, I'm fucking glad the Turtles are still around.
Sure.
Like, I was talking to a coworker today, and he's 24. And he was saying that, like, oh, I've known the Turtles my whole life, too. And that is so cool. Like, he's 12 years younger than me. And he was just like, yeah, fucking, I love the Turtles. Like, who doesn't?
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's good IP and it stands the test of time. Like, it just does. But again, I've also had, and we're going to be all over the map, just kind of talking about our love for the Turtles as well. I've always had an idea in my mind that everyone has a favorite Ninja Turtle. Mm-hmm. And it kind of corresponds to, it's a little bit of a personality test.
Yeah, and I think we discussed this.
And I would always say to people, I'm like, who is your favorite Ninja Turtle? And I'd always make a joke going, there's no wrong answer, but there is a correct answer. And so, Michael, tell him, who is your favorite Ninja Turtle? And you could probably figure it out. I'll give you a second to guess. Go ahead.
It's 100% Michelangelo.
Yeah, it 100% is.
I mean, yeah, come on. He's the fun one. Why not?
Okay. And
plus also, nunchucks. Like, Bruce Lee used nunchucks. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, nunchucks are pretty rad. I will say, okay. So, with that being said, we'll get into each one individually. What do you like? Explain Michelangelo's personality. We're going to kind of talk about the family dynamic of these turtles, who were named after great Renaissance painters.
Well, Michelangelo is basically...
He's a party dude, first off.
He is a party dude.
Let's not bury the lead.
Michelangelo is
He's a party dude.
He's... How do I put this? He is more... He is the turtle that lives the most in the moment.
Absolutely.
A constant finder of joy and sarcasm and bitter irony in the moment, no matter where he's at. And I think within the dynamic of the group, he understands that his role is to constantly de-escalate the situation, especially in the first movie.
Yeah.
Like anytime Raphael and Leonardo start going head to head, he'll, crack wise and try to, bring the tension down, like even just a notch or whatever. Not always successful, not always a great reader of the room.
No.
But there's something in his attempt in terms of it's wholehearted and it's very heartfelt.
I agree with that. He's very much so kind of like we do with our podcast, in the sense of like he probably understands, or maybe he doesn't. He just he chooses in a way not to look at what is wrong with the world, and he's just it's a world of constant distraction.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you, this is going to get a little bit like therapy for a second. But I do the same thing, and I relate to him. He is not my answer to the previous question,
right?
But I relate to him a lot in the sense of one of my biggest things is that I feel like I live in a world of distraction, and my biggest fear is that's hence why I fucking watch enough movies to start a fucking podcast about it, or play enough video games, or distract myself with other things. My biggest fear is one day that the distractions don't work.
Right.
And so Michelangelo is constantly satisfied with the most simple things, and it's like a way of, not being too dark, but like staving off the darkness, as it were. Or like kind of being like, hey, dude, I'm happy right here in this moment. Like, what more do I need? I got my bros, I got my pizza, I got my skateboard. Like, let's tear it up, bro. Like, we're badass, we're ninjas, and we hit people with nunchucks, and like,
right, we're family, we have a good time. Yeah, you and I were kind of talking about it a little bit before in terms of a lot of the turtles are trying to find their place in the world, and Michelangelo seems the least concerned with that in terms of, why question existentialism when we could just play video games, or why worry about my place in the world when, fuck it, dude, let's just order a pizza. And so he sort of gives all that up, not in a cynical or nihilistic kind of way. Just
not at all.
He readily acknowledges that, like, oh, those questions are way too big, and I can't. It's not for me to sit around and navel gaze about it.
No,
like, fuck that. I'd much rather just let's go skateboarding or whatever. Like,
very much so. Everything you said was spot on. I want to add to it if I can. He probably, I would think, and this is a personality test that I'm guessing, probably wouldn't handle disappointment very well.
Probably
in the
not.
sense of, I think that he doesn't set his expectations of things too high.
Right.
So he just lowers the bar constantly. But he's happy with the lower bar. He's like, shit, I'm always winning. The bar's right here, dude.
Right.
Like, we're right here.
But also, like, sort of, I think he is self-aware enough to realize that, like, he doesn't expect very much. So even when those expectations aren't met, he's like,
not that much of fall from the floor.
But it still hurts. Like, like, he still feels it, but like I said, he's constantly distracted by the next thing anyway, so fuck it. Well, that didn't work out, then we're going to go do something else,
Yeah, no, that's spot on. So, I think that is very apt of like when you say Michelangelo being your favorite. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is the correct answer for you. It's not the correct answer as the whole, which I'll get into here in a little bit. But I will say this, though. One person who pivoted a lot between the first movie and the third movie and his iterations between the comic books and the... excuse me as we switch notes. Between the comic books and all the other iterations is Donatello. Yeah. And going back and watching this with a more scrutinous eye and an analytical eye of what I understand being one of three brothers, and what I always thought was kind of like, again, not trying to make this therapy session, but like my role of kind of putting out fires is what I always felt like I had to do a lot. Mm-hmm. Donatello is the hero unsung. And he did evolve between the first movie. He was kind of just like a little bit, him and Michelangelo were kind of like two of a pair. It was like when mommy and daddy are over there fighting, of like, you know, Raphael and Leonardo, mm-hmm. They're always fighting like, hey, we're going to go have our own fun, which I can relate to, not necessarily like of parents arguing, but whether it be your brothers or if there's any kind of conflict, he's just like, let's just go over here and ignore that. And he kind of looks out for Michelangelo in a middle brother to younger brother kind of way. Mm-hmm. And he's just kind of like, hey, dude, like I'm with you, like I'm down to ride. Like you can kind of tell he's the father to his game a lot, but Donatello is, like I said, he's the hero unsung, man. They kind of make him a lot more nerdy and geeky and stuff like that as it goes on.
Oh, by the third movie, he's literally figuring out time travel on like a compact 85. And
and in the cartoon, he was very much so like the computer guy and everything like that. And
I mean, he built the Turtlemobile and like any of the, like he was their Q, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like any gadgets they needed or any sort of like, well, we need to science our science. Like they just hand it to Donatello.
And he kind of became taken for granted for that in other iterations. Mm-hmm. I'm going to talk about in the movie though, in the first one specifically, he's not really like that. They kind of hint at it a little bit. But he doesn't really, he's kind of like, you can tell that he's there to kind of keep Mikey entertained and away from the dangers of Raphael and Leonardo fighting. Well, does that make any sense?
Yeah. He's meant to be the, not dividing line, but the speed bump over Raph and Leo's bullshit getting in the way of Mikey and harming him psychologically.
Right.
So like,
but he also needs Michelangelo to be like, dude, I can't deal with these two fucking guys all the time.
Right. And I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but there's an interesting dynamic between the turtles in terms of there's a dichotomy of there are the turtles who are very satisfied in staying hidden in the world, and then there are the turtles who very much want to be a part of the human world and find their place and understand, like, you know, how they fit into society in general.
That is a constant theme, and that affects each and every one of their personalities for sure. Yeah. And I will say this, I wrote down in my notes here, and I actually said this out loud when I was watching the movie. By the third movie, you're like, Donatello is the most self-actualized of all of the turtles, like by far. Like he's the most well-rounded, he's the most grounded, and he is by far the most consistent of just like, he knows where he's at, he's cool with it. And he kind of got there. He actually has a real cool story arc if you pay attention through all three movies, if you assume that they're all connected. 1 and 2 definitely are, but whatever. But let's just hypothetically say they are. There's a moment in the second movie where they're finding out, as the title describes, the secret of the ooze.
The goo that transformed them from titular turtles.
From baby turtles that were just turtles into the teenage mutant ones that they are today. And Donatello's talking to Splinter, and he's talking to the scientist that works for the lab, the TGRI or whatever it was that created the ooze in the first one.
Talking about TGIF?
TGIFs, baby.
Talking about Family Matters?
Exactly.
Full House?
You know about TGIF used to be that shit to watch now. I reckon that was must-see TV. I think that was Thursdays was must-see TV.
Right.
Anyways.
Tangent.
But no, he's finding out the secret of the ooze, whatever, to go back to it, and he has this real sincere and sweet moment where they find out that like he was made by pure accident. It was just random cause that the ooze came into the sewers, they happened to be there, and boom. Right. They were disposing of the ooze, they were just doing it illegally, so it fell off a truck, and here you are today. Yeah. And he has this real moment. And Michael, I'm gonna steal what he said because it fit it perfectly. He's like, "Oh shit! Like I'm here because the condom broke, and that's it.
Right.
Like that's it."
Right.
And he talks to Master Splinter, and he's like, "Man, I just kind of thought that, like maybe there was something more to it. Like
I thought we would always find out we were special." And Splinter tries to comfort him and says, "Well, you are special." And that's not enough for Donatello. He's like, I'm here just simply because tragic happenstance. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and it's kind of a tender moment that gets glossed over in the silliness of the second movie.
Yeah.
But like, if you really think about what goes on there,
like I made the analogy of like, it's like you always grew up and it's like, oh, my mom was always home and she was, always such fun and we always had such good times, and then you find out like, oh no, your mom was home all the time because she had a crippling drug problem and couldn't hold down a job, so she just stayed home all day. And then you're like, oh my God, that's why she took so many naps. Like, it's like your reality was just fine, and then you find out the underlying truth, and it totally redefines everything that you've ever known about yourself.
Yeah, that truth slips in, and you can't see it the same anymore.
Right. It's like seeing how the magic trick works, It's
like,
I can't unsee it now.
Yeah, and Donatello, you notice in that moment that Michelangelo does the same. I'm going to say an old saying, but it'll make sense in a minute. Michelangelo does the same thing, just in a very different way. Michelangelo wears his on his sleeve. Donatello secretly has been making lemonade out of the lemons that he's been getting his whole life.
Right.
And he realized in that moment, they're like, oh shit, man. I'm tired of drinking lemonade.
Right,
Fuck.
right.
Like,
all I got to show for it is lemonade.
And lemonade's not going to taste the same anymore.
Right.
But I'm really good at making it. But
Right,
damn, in this moment, I'm tired of the fucking taste of lemonade. And I thought maybe for a second that I could graduate to being a Sprite guy. Or, you know what I mean? Or like a pink lemonade guy.
Right.
And
at least some Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and it's like, oh fuck, So it's a really tender moment, but throughout the three films, he's definitely the most consistent in who he is.
Yeah.
And he is very much so like, he's the anchor that they all need. And they pivot off of those, like I said, in the other iterations and the other, where he just becomes kind of like the dorky guy. There's also a moment in the second movie where they come back and they beat up bad guys. And they all come back and everyone's like, radical, bodacious, this and that and the third. And he can't think of one to say, so he's like, spacious. And they're like, come on, buddy, like, you're better than that. So like, they kind of oddball him out a little bit, but he seems to be okay with it in the moment because he's like, he knows that like my role, he understands his role within the family of like, I'm going to be the grounded one, whether I like it or not.
Yeah.
It's a heavy burden to bear, actually.
He's definitely the most well-adjusted of
You don't see his
four,
tempers flare one way or the other too much. He cries about the pizza having mold on it or whatever. But like, he is the hero unsung of the turtles. So big shout out to Donatello. That is our middle brother Matthew's favorite turtle. Donatello's that.
I wonder why, based on the personality review.
But yeah, no, Donatello's that dude, man. He doesn't get enough love. Now we'll talk about the blue turtle, Leonardo.
Leonardo, he's the leader of the group.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not.
Not according to the song, but they got that wrong.
Well, we'll get into that. Some people say, okay, I'll spoil it now. When I make the joke about who's your favorite Ninja Turtle, there is no wrong answer, but there is a correct answer. The correct answer is Raphael. Which I'm going to circle back to him and save what I would like to call the best for last. And those who are true turtle heads will already know what I'm talking about. So anytime somebody says Raphael, they always say it like, who's your favorite turtle? And they go, Raphael. I'm like, fucking high five, dude. Because they say it with such confidence. Like, yeah, like any other answer is wrong. So, anyways, we'll talk about Leonardo, though, who I love all of the turtles, and I have appreciation for them because they play a very specific role. Michael, break down some Leo for us, please. The blue bandanaed, katanaed, wielding turtle.
Canonically, he's the oldest of the turtles. He's always sort of been relegated, especially in the cartoon and in the movie version, to the leader of the organization, just in terms of he's the one that's consistently setting down rules and constantly trying to enforce parameters and boundaries that it's almost like in D&D, you have the lawful good, You know, like
Yeah.
like we have to adhere to this very strict code, and no one else can ever go outside of it, no matter what. And there's no excuse for it. Like them's the rules.
He takes his also. Splinter knows that he can treat him a little bit differently. He's a little bit stricter on him and Raphael for different reasons. Mm-hmm. But Leonardo takes it so seriously, and it's kind of like having a friend that's like, you're all into something, but he takes it so serious. Or like, if you've ever been in band before, when you have the guy who's in the lead chair, and they're constantly pushing you to the point where you're like, I don't even fucking give a damn about playing the drums anymore, or playing the trumpet anymore. Like, you've sucked all the fun out of being a fucking ninja, dude. Like, golly. Right. And he's kind of burdened with that a little bit, Leonardo is, of kind of being like, hey guys. But anyways, go ahead.
He's always overly cautious. Like in the first movie, you know, he and Raph have a whole discussion about like why they can't move out of the sewers, and like, you know, like, and he's always, anytime Raph does something, he's always coming down on him and being like, well, why did you do that? And sometimes, you know, like when he brings April back, when Raphael brings April back to the sewer lair after she gets attacked by the Foot, and, you know, Leonardo's like, well, why did you do it? He's like, well, because I wanted to redecorate a couple of, you know, throw pillows, a TV news reporter. I thought it would go with the decor. What do you think? And Leonardo's like, all right, well, fair point, but like, he's always got something to say. He's always trying to keep the other brothers in check. And
he never really turns it off. He does again later in the movies. Like at a certain point, they all kind of become interchangeable.
Right.
But it takes a lot he has to really be in the moment and enjoying himself for him to turn it off.
Right. Well, he shoulders a lot of responsibility, and sometimes a lot of that is
of his own
volition. Yeah. Unnecessarily, he puts, you know, it's up to him to carry not only his cross but everybody else's. So. Yeah. I don't know, but through that, he's always looking for approval. He's always looking for like
validation.
Validation. Like, did I do good? I did good, right? I did the thing. We did the thing, right? Oh, I did so good, right? Like, he's constantly, whether it's through Splinter or his brothers or April or any relationship, he's constantly looking for the thumbs up and the pat on the back, because for whatever reason, like I guess because he bears so much burden, that he's constantly needing some sort of gold star about it, or some sort of like, yes, that's the reason why you do this, so that we can pat you on the back and say good job, you know.
He also needs all of the effort that he puts in. He needs it to mean something. He can't just be like, I'm busting y'all's ass all the time, you know. It's like, there's got to be a reason why I'm doing this. And so when he gets those moments, he's like, I see, like I told you.
Right.
And even like later on, this is why we'll get into Raphael's dark side a little bit. Like when Raphael does bring April O'Neil back to the lair, and then she finds out that the Foot Clan followed him back, and that leads to Splinter being captured, and stuff like that. And that's when we were talking about earlier. Raphael's just like, "Fuck!" without saying it. Just screams at the camera,
screams into the void. Right.
Yeah, and you can tell that Leonardo is frustrated with him in the sense of like, these are why they're rules, dude. Fucking, I don't like it any more than you, but like the right thing to do is stay out of it. You know, and it's like, man, fuck you. You know.
Yeah.
And he was right ultimately, but it's like, there's not a lot of room for gray area
with Leonardo.
In Leonardo.
Right.
In his sense, it's very much so Captain America in the sense of what is right to him is right, and he'll go tooth and nail for that.
Yep.
And what is wrong, he's just like, hey man, we're not doing that.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. He's very, very bilateral in his. It is either good or it is bad. There's no exceptions, there's no but what if, there's no like but maybe kind of. It's like, no, you either are on the path of being a better person or you are not on the path of being a better person.
Right. And the problem that him and they
he's trying to force everybody to go down his way of being a better person.
Right, and he doesn't
his flaw.
And he doesn't take into account that each one is very different.
Right. And they approach things from different. And also the world is is not black and white. It's sort of a gray area. So like you have to have allowances for, you know, extra conditions or a case by case basis of certain situations.
And like if Leonardo had his way, he would prowl the rooftops at night, never being seen by humans, and they would come down, save the day, or some mugging, and then disappear into the night, and they could go home and celebrate. It'd be like, oh, look how awesome we are, and that would be fine with him. You know, he'd be like, that's what we do, that's the duty, that is the task, that is our burden. and like, you know, and him and Raphael butt heads a lot, and
right.
both of their flaws that they share, they're incredibly short-sighted.
Oh, for
both
sure.
of them are incredibly, and they get into it a lot over that, which we'll pivot to, but I think that's a very good description of Leonardo. But I will get into the correct answer here. Is Raphael. Raphael is by far my favorite turtle. I probably am the most like either Donatello or Michelangelo, somewhere between them.
Mm-hmm.
But Raphael, in a weird way, I relate to the most, which is, like I said, I would think you are probably the most like Leonardo in a weird way, but also kind of Raphael at the same time. But no, I think Raphael, I'm sorry. He's incredibly the side-wielding leader. If you listen to the rap song at the end of the first movie, they very, very much so factually say that Raphael is the leader, even though he doesn't ask for it. That's why he is who he is and why he is the way he is. He's like, I don't want any of this shit.
Do you remember we performed that rap song for the elementary school talent show?
Is that what? I thought we did 9.95.
Oh, that was another song in the soundtrack. But no, we did T-U-R-T-L-E power. Yeah. On the half shell, the hero's for. In this day and age, who could ask for more? The crime wave was high, with muggins mysterious. All police and detectives are furious, because they can't find the source of this lethally evil force.
Keep going.
Your shell is hard, so you shout, they can't dust us off like some old coffee table. Since you've been born, you've been willing and able to defeat the sneak, protect the weak, fight for your rights and your freedom to speak.
That was so well done. You did that off the top. I don't remember a single word of that song except them. Yes, but
Call April O'Neil and on the case. Hey, you better hurry up. There's no time to waste.
Yeah.
We need heroes like the Lone Ranger, when Tonto came pronto, when there was danger.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, fucking T-U-R-T-L-E. Yeah, we did perform. I was in like kindergarten when I did that.
Yeah.
The after-school talent show.
We can't use any of that. It's all going to get put down.
Yeah, whatever. We're not making any money off the podcast yet. But whatever. No, Raphael, though. That was fucking awesome, by the way. Cheers to that. Michael, you're the hero unsung. But yeah, Raphael, though, is incredibly headstrong. And his biggest thing is he wants to understand his purpose in it all. And it's really tough. He's so angsty. And he gets, you can tell it really reflects on his, he has like this anger, this pent up rage. And
it's very Gen X, like I'm mad at the world, I'm just not sure why kind of thing.
Yeah. And they're 15 in it. And the funniest part of Raphael is that by the end of it, he's very teenager kind of.
By the third one?
By the third movie. He's pretty much a 40-year-old, like, New York union worker. He's like, I'm busting my hump down here in the sewers. Hey, I'm walking here. Go down to get a gabagool, you know?
I'm working these 16-hour shifts in this sewer for you, Miriam. For us and our half-mutant kids.
And I have mutant kids. Hey, he's like, he really is, if you go back and watch it, a 40-year-old union worker.
Nice clean water. Nature, I love it. It's so natural.
And then they clown him for it.
No tires, no dead fish.
Yeah. Turtles in time. Oh, man.
He's just crusty old union worker.
He is. I've been at the docks. They cut my pension. I bust my height. Yeah, we're making him Serpico now. Oh, man.
Tell me more.
Tell me more. Yeah. The mayor. Yeah. He's Serpico ultimately by the third movie. Man, that was really fun to do. Expect those voices to come back as Raphael.
It was also kind of Serpico, but also kind of like Harvey Fierstein. Like, let me tell you about this city here.
Yeah. Back in Studio 54 in the 70s.
Picture me, it's Andy Warhol, Madonna. Yeah. We're all blasted on cocaine off of Pablo Escobar's ass.
Oh, man.
Who should walk in but the thin white duke himself, David Bowie?
Oh, my God, yes. Yeah, that's ultimately who Raphael becomes. Which, again, expect these voices to come back several times throughout the history or the future of this podcast. But to get back to it, though, he is he just wants to understand his place in the world, and you can really tell that like he understands that like the outside world is never going to appreciate what they do, and he has several lines of dialogue in all three of the movies of like, why don't, and it's just easy, kind of like a plot device for him to be a certain way, which they overuse by the third movie, because now he's just angry at everything, and he's just like, I'm doing this because Leonardo said not to, and he's just like, okay, like, he's not that, you know, they missed the mark of the character.
Well, I mean, ultimately, in a weird way, he's like, you know, Ariel, like the Little Mermaid, you know, like he looks up at the surface world and sees like, you know, whereas Michelangelo is okay with the distractions of, you know, food and video games and entertainment and movies and the culture of the world.
Right.
Raphael wants to be a part of that culture.
Yeah.
He wants to experience it, and why shouldn't I, you know,
be accepted?
Be accepted, right. Especially if I'm busting my ass and
for 60 hours down here on the docks,
fighting these Foot Clans on the docks for your safety, Miriam, so you can walk the streets at night.
Right.
Yeah, but like his whole perspective is, why am I fighting for these people if I'm never going to be a part of them? Like, what's the point in all of that? And ultimately, that's what makes him frustrated. And so, like, when he first fights Casey Jones, and Casey Jones calls him a freak, and like
it's a great scene, by the way.
It is. But like, if that had happened to any one of the other turtles, they would have shook it off and just brushed it off and been like, oh man, that kind of sucks, and just moved on. But Raphael is the one that, no, you can't call me a freak. No. I'm a part of this city as much as you are, and yes, I'm different, but fuck you. We're all freaks in New York City. So
right.
Like you're wearing, you know, you're carrying sports equipment and wearing a hockey mask, fighting, you know, kung fu style, you know, vigilante justice. Fuck you. You're a freak.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's even also the sense of like, there's the mugging that happens, and he trips the people that steal the purse from the. He leaves the movie Critters. Sorry, let me backtrack. He goes up to the surface after he gets into a little...
He's dressed like Humphrey Bogart with the like trench coat and the fedora hat.
Yeah, and he goes up to go, he's like, whatever, I'm out, you guys don't... So he goes to watch Critters, and his joke is like, Critters? Who thinks of this stuff? Right. And he turns and walks off, and the crime is high in New York City due to the emergence of the Foot Clan and the Shredder. And so somebody snatches a purse right in front of him, and he trips the guy, and they jump over a fence, and they kind of duke it out. And right then, Casey Jones jumps in after everything's been... They break it up or whatever. And then he calls...
No, the kids escape.
Yeah, the kids escape.
And then that's when Casey Jones drops in, like, man, what the hell was... Like, the kid's like, what the hell was that? And he goes, that was a crime, you purse-snagging pukes.
Yeah. But he calls him a freak, though. And he's like, dude, I'm trying to help this poor lady. You're over here calling me mean names. Like, yo, fuck you, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
Like, fuck you, straight up, from the heart. Like, in that moment, he's just like...
He's got a lot of pent-up rage, and like, I mean, like I said, it's I'm not sure even he knows from whence it comes. He just knows that, like, I gotta get this out of me.
Yeah.
And, like, at best, he can try to direct it away from his brothers into, like, you know, again, like, violence on the streets, you know, pursuing vigilante justice. At least that's an outlet for him.
Right.
Like,
and while Leonardo craves order... Not only just like in his own personal, you can tell he needs structure. Raphael would probably benefit from it the best, but won't do it. He's contempt prior to investigation. He's like, yeah, I see what you're doing, Leo. That works for you, but like, fuck you, pal. Like,
right.
It's like contempt prior to investigation is saying that like you watch a trailer for a movie and you go, oh, that movie's gonna suck, and then you continue to say, oh, that movie does suck. You haven't even seen it. Like,
right. You've seen literally 30 seconds worth of the movie in rapid succession,
and you're like, that movie's not for me, and you're like, You're satisfied with your answer before you know shit about it.
Right.
And he's a little bit stuck that way, which is really how I am, like, internally.
Oh, he's very cynical and very, I don't want to say static, but, like, it takes a lot for him to crack his opinion about anything. You know, like, I think that Raphael, for better or worse, forms opinions about life and situations and people, and... he is not going to be the one to change that. Like, he's not going to just grow into it and evolve and change his mentality. You have to force him to change it.
Yeah. No, very much so. He's he does come about all of his lessons honestly, but he does come about them a very hard way as well. Like, he's such a loner, and he goes up to the roof to just do karate and like, y'all just leave me the fuck alone. And then the Foot Clan comes and jumps him, and he busts some ass for a little while. But I remember. This is why they pivoted so much in the movie, and we'll talk about how they recast April O'Neil and stuff. He gets his ass busted, man. He held his own for a little bit, but then like 40 like Foot Clan members show up, and they proceed to kick the shit out of Raphael. And it's actually like for a kid's movie. Like, obviously it's a dude in a rubber suit getting kicked around, but if you just look at the humanity of what's happening, It's pretty dark, actually.
Well, it forms the whole crux of the second act, which is Raphael might die, and the turtles are at their lowest, and so they escape to the farm upstate. And
by the way, I have this written down in my notes here. It says Turtle Farm Playset. How come the Turtle Farm Playset was never a thing? I would have loved to play on the Turtle Farm upstate New York. That upset me very much. I forgot about that in that movie.
I mean, they had 11 million other toys.
They needed 11 million and more. April O'Neil's New York upstate farm hideaway playset. But no, like he goes off to do his own thing because he's like, man, fuck you guys, and that's where Donatello kind of comes in, like where Leonardo becomes at an impasse. He's like, fine, we don't need you, and Donatello's kind of there to be like, dude, you didn't have to say that last part. It's like, and we were talking about earlier how Leonardo kind of needs a validation. And Donatello is kind of just like, he's like, let him be, let him blow off some steam, like, it's cool. Mikey's like, kind of, whatever, dude. Go be mad, don't be mad around, don't kill my buzz. And Donatello, again, the hero unsung, like, is kind of like, you know that this is how we get. So why are you don't need that last comment.
Right.
Like, you won, buddy. And, like, Leonardo's kind of like, right, guys? And Donatello's like, not really, dude. You're kind of the asshole too, man. Like, you know how he is. Why do you instigate? Why do you continue to push?
You guys are both dicks.
Yeah, like, I'm not... Is that what you want to hear? Good for you? You got the last word in?
Right.
And that's where Leonardo doesn't realize his shortcomings, where Raphael at least wears his on his sleeves. And if you give him shit about it, he's like, fine then, whatever, I'm out. Like, which, again, is incredibly short-sighted
and immature, and not the way that you handle, like, a difference of opinion. Just somebody being like, well, I think you're wrong. Well, fine, fuck you, I'll do it myself. Like, all right. Like, I'm sure there's a compromise there somewhere between the two extremes.
And Raphael, the difference between him and Leonardo and their short-sightedness is Leonardo doesn't understand the difference between being right and being happy.
Right.
He thinks the two. I think that he thinks the two might be synonymous, and like he has to get the last word in it. He can only be happy if he feels that he's in the right. And Raphael's like, fuck it, I'm not happy, and I'll be wrong. I don't give a shit, whatever. And like, at least he kind of wears it on his sleeve of like, whatever, I'm the asshole.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
And he takes it to that level. Sometimes we all know somebody that like you're trying to give them honest critique, and then they'll shut down. But fine, I'm the asshole. And you're like, dude, I'm not saying that. Like, trying to just have a talk with you, buddy.
Right.
So, all that being said, all of these personalities, it really is wonderfully crafted, and that is why, no matter what liberties they take in any of these iterations, there's a cartoon out recently where Raphael was like 2 times bigger than the other turtles, and he was like the dopey muscle, and Michelangelo you can't really change too much because he's such a needed aspect. Donatello was still the geeky one, and then they did put Leonardo into that leader role. But like, that's kind of why they changed Donatello as well. It was like, we kind of need a different trope here for you.
Right.
So they kind of pivot a little bit off and on throughout. The comics remain pretty much the same, but like the dynamic of who they are as a family unit, being brothers, works so well that it truly does translate into new generations. Where you can take liberties and it's still like, dude, they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's fucking phenomenal IP. And for all the reasons we just broke down, because we have a platform to do such things where we break down our love for the turtles and why they're important to us, is why it works, man. And it's brilliant, and I'm so glad I got to go back and watch these movies. A lot of that was kind of diving into the first one, which got a lot of flack for being kind of like a little too dark and a little too close to the comics, because
I could see the parental concern a little bit. In my opinion, it's a little overblown in terms of there's no blood, it's not like it's graphic, gory violence, or especially compared to things that were coming out around the time. I mean, like, you just had Conan the Barbarian, you just had, Aliens, you just had all this, in terms of children's or family, quote unquote, programming or a family theme. Yeah, it wanders a little bit into the dark territory, but not really. Not enough to really warrant any major changes or major concerns.
Yeah, ultimately, I agree with that. I mean, parents that are going to be like that are going to be like that. They're the same ones that about violent video games. It's just, but I think it's because they thought that it was a kid's movie, and it was one of those things where you walk into it and you're like, oh, I thought this was going to be for kids, and like, I just watched the turtle get beat up by 40 dudes, like, and thrown through a window, like thrown through a balcony window up top, or a skylight or whatever, like, and crash 40 feet onto the earth. Like, they fuck them up pretty good. But yeah, so they kind of pivoted to go off of that movie, which before I say anything else about Ninja Turtles 2, I have to give a very special shout out to two actors. One is Elias
Koteas. Or Koteas, or...
Who's the guy that's on SVU? I know Chris Maloney.
Oh, Chris Maloney, yeah.
Who is, I'm going to be mean, I love you, dude. Who's looks like a broke man's Chris Maloney.
Oh, yeah, he's the wish list Chris Maloney, yeah.
No, he's a good actor. He's been in fucking everything.
He was in Thin Red Line, he was in...
I'm giving him shit, but he's a really good actor.
But he played Casey Jones, yeah. He did a really good job.
So I couldn't just say that joke. It was a really mean joke if I'm like, he's a broke man's fucking Chris Maloney.
Go for it.
Yeah,
I'm sure I've said worse.
Yeah, probably. But no, he's been in fucking a lot of stuff. But special shout out to him. He's actually pretty enjoyable. Shout out to April O'Neil, Judith Hoag, who was in the first movie, who was one of my first crushes, like her and Roger Rabbit.
Wait,
Roger Rabbit, sorry, Freudian slip. Jessica Rabbit, sorry. Yeah.
Freudian slip there.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
Exactly. Hey, man, I've seen what those lips can do. Anyways, yeah, her and Jessica Rabbit, but I wanted to give a very special shout out to one, Sammy Rockwell's.
Sammy
Rockwell's is actually, and I didn't know this, is in the first Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Whatever you want to say it. Whatever you want to do it.
Got any cigarettes?
Regulars or menthols?
He is credited as head
and that's
thug.
His entire performance.
No, he says one thing at the end.
Oh, no, we're family. Yeah.
No, he says one thing at the end to the police chief where he's like, there's a warehouse on 133rd and Bleecker that'll answer all your questions.
Yeah.
And that's it. But yeah,
young Sammy rocks.
Sammy Rockwell's holding it down as leader, one of the leaders of the Foot Clan. I forgot all about that. I know you have an Oscar, so you don't technically qualify for underrated performer. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you because you Sammy Rockwell's and you need another merit of accolade or whatever or award. So underrated performance of the week goes to Sammy Rockwell as head thug in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Boom, we just did that. Now we can go talk about number 2, Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze.
Before we do that, let's take a let's sum up Ninja Turtles 1. What do you think, man? As far as like, what do you want to rank it?
And honestly, again with the nostalgia being what it is, man. Like, I love this movie. It holds up way more than I thought it would. It does play, it crosses the line, it toes the line just perfectly of being just dark enough where it does pay some homage to the comic books, which a lot of people don't know. It's not like, it is very much like bodacious, radical, but it's also kind of dark.
Oh, it has very dark elements.
Yeah. And there's a lot more family drama in that one too. Stakes are a little higher, but it does do a good job of kind of towing that line of being like for the kids and like, hey dude, it's Ninja Turtles who skateboard and eat pizza all day.
Right.
So I forgot how good it was, and I've seen this movie again. I've seen it probably like 5 years ago or something like that. But I know as a kid, I saw this movie at least 30 to 50 times. Like, easily.
I think aesthetically, it's really great. You get a lot of the sense of New York. A lot of it was shot on location and uses real world effects, practical effects. I really like the costumes, to take a character like the Shredder from the comic book, who is ridiculous. He's wearing the samurai helmet that's all razor blades and the shoulder pads, and he's got the Freddy Krueger gauntlet or what, like
blades coming out the back of his
head. Yeah. To take something that dynamic and that spectacular, and then make it look functional and cool in a real world setting. Kudos to them, man. I think that the creators and especially the technical aspects of this movie, as far as the costuming, the animatronic stuff like that, really understood the source material and sort of understood the assignment and knocked it out of the park. There's a few pacing problems, there's a few editing problems, but for the most part, I mean, I don't really have a whole lot bad to say about it. It's not unenjoyable
at all.
It's, even if you're not a Ninja Turtles fan, you'll be entertained by it. It's got just enough quips and just enough jokes and just enough action and heart and family drama to keep you involved and invested. So yeah, highly recommend, man.
I read a review in my process of doing this. It was an original review where somebody shit all over it, and they didn't get it. And I think they called the Shredder like like ultimately like a poor man's Darth Vader or something like that. Because I thought he was super imposing as a child. I was like, oh man, that Shredder's fucking rugged, bro. But now that I kind of look at him, like he kind of is a little bit, but he's also a ninja, man, and he's a samurai. Like, fuck you.
I mean,
you write something better. You
exactly.
Stupid ass article that only got brought up again because I brought it up, but your shit's been forgotten in perpetuity. I'm still talking about the motherfucking Shredder.
I don't even remember your name.
Yeah, so you do something with your life before you shit on the Shredder. That being said, we are going to take a break while I'm still on my high horse. We want to take a break and thank our sponsor, pizza.
Pork rinds and pizza.
It's good for the kids.
And we're back. Thank you for our sponsors, pizza and pork rinds. It's what a ninja craves.
Exactly. There's a line. He's like, you're messy. He's like, you're looking for, what is it? He says something about
122 and an eighth.
Yeah.
122 and an eighth. You're standing on it, dude.
Standing on it, dude. No, April brings home groceries. He says something about, like, you're tearing up the bags. And he's like, no, bro, I'm spelunking for pork rinds. They turned Michelangelo straight to a California surfer. So, anyways. So, the pivot from Ninja Turtles 1 to number 2.
Yeah. And we don't have to spend a whole lot of time doing plot by plot, but like I think we did a good job of establishing like the heart and the family dynamic of the first movie and how it's like the interpersonal relationships, and then you just juxtapose that against a really great origin story that sort of tackles where, you know, the world that we're living in now, like why things are the way that they are. Then we go into Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, it was a $16.5 million budget, and it raked in about $78 million. As the first one was about $13.5 million budget, and it broke $135 million in the first movie. So obviously that merits a sequel. I'll tell you, a lot of people do not like this movie, or a lot less. Part of the reason is that the quality kind of dips in some areas. It kind of suffers some of the bad sequelizations where they're like, oh, this is a cash hit. We have to act quickly before this window closes. And this is at New Line Cinema. And they and it was the same production company that was doing, I think it was
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street. And they were producing their 7th Nightmare on Elm Street movie in 8 years.
Yeah.
So they were just like,
every 9 months, cranking out another one.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah. So it was just rapid fire. So the Turtles, the second movie, really fell into that.
It literally came out, I want to say, almost exactly a year to the date of the original's release. So in terms of 1990 movie or 1990s movies turnaround, that's really quick. I mean, you figure they had to do at least 4 to 6 months of shooting, 2 to 3 months of pre-production work, maybe 2 to 4 months of post-production work, editing, soundtrack, this, that, the other. The fact that you turn that out in less than 12 months really shows that you're trying to hit the strike while the iron's hot. Like, oh, we just made a boat ton of money off of this. Send another boat.
Yeah, pretty much. So it does do some things well. It's directed by Michael Pressman. We want to give the proper shout outs to the artists that are making these.
Because we did the research. You hear that?
Yeah.
That's research. That's what that is.
What's his name? Who was the Feldman? Corey Feldman was released as the voice of Donatello, which we did not mention that. He pleaded no contest to some drug charges at the time, so some drug possession charges.
Oh, is he not the second? He's
not the second Donatello at all.
Oh.
Yeah, so they released him as Donatello, which was fine, whatever. You don't really notice. In fact, the producer
You don't hear much from the Coreys nowadays. I wonder how Corey Haim's doing.
Yeah, I wonder. If only. The producer...
Goddamn vampires.
Yeah. I think one of the producers, his last name was Gray, so I'm going to call him Mr. Gray, was doing an interview with Den of Geek, and they were saying that they ended up releasing April O'Neil, played by Judith Hoag.
Judith Hoag, yeah.
Yeah, and she became Paige Turco, who was the new April O'Neil.
Which, that's a whole interesting story and dynamic in and of itself. Maybe we can get into it just a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about some
But apparently, Judith Hoag, for whatever reason, was sort of deemed difficult to work with. A lot of her complaints had to do with the 6-day work schedule, But then she also was really standing up for all the Hong Kong stunt actors that were in the suits. Apparently they're, like, her whole complaint was that they're non-unionized workers and they're literally just shipping them over 3-4 out of a time. They're getting injured, exhausted, and then they're just shipping them back and replacing them. So she, in a weird way, was adamant about the workers' rights, and so I kind of have to respect that a little bit.
Yeah, and they just deemed her difficult. We're like, we won't bring her back.
Yeah.
And his reasoning was the same way of like Corey Feldman, who kind of was released, is that one made a little bit more sense in the fact that like they're gonna redub this movie in multiple languages and send it out throughout the world. And he's like, same, and this is the part that kind of Judith Hoag, kind of the first April, kind of suffered. Is he said that, like, no one is coming for the ancillary characters. They're here for the turtles.
Right.
So, like, no one gives a shit who's voicing them. They're here because of the Ninja Turtles. So they cranked out a script without said people and found Paige Turco, who's a little bit more willing to play ball. And, and there we went. But, yeah, that was some of these interviews and some of the factual here. I'm not trying to get into it, but Den of Geek, I read a pretty in-depth article. You can, I'm sure, Google it pretty quick, and if you want to know... Yeah,
shout out to Den of Geek.
Just trying to, cite my work, as it were. But, yeah, they were just saying, like, it fell into a lot of the same production problems of just trying to do things fast. Well... And also, what they're saying, Judith Hoag was also saying that it was too violent. They're like, it's too violent for a kid's movie. And so the studio took a lot of notes on that, and... They kind of pulled away and were like, we're going to do this more kid-friendly, more like...
To her credit, it wasn't just Judith Hoag that brought that up. A lot of the parents' rights groups brought it up as well and claimed that, I brought my kids to go see a kids movie, and here they are wielding swords and nunchucks, and they're, Which, again, there's no blood, there's no graphic violence, really. It's all sort of very... Like, I've seen more graphic violence in a Shaw Brothers movie... But in the same breath, it's also that same level of cartoonish violence.
There's more in fucking The Lion King.
Yeah. But just case in point, it's. I understand why the studio did that, but they didn't really need to. But the case in point, like they essentially take away all the turtles' weapons. Like you very rarely see Leonardo uses swords, and Michelangelo uses. Instead of his nunchucks, there's a scene where he's swinging around, sausage links and Donatello, fights with a squeaky toy as opposed to his, they essentially remove all the ninja aspects and just turn it into cartoony violence.
Yeah, like slapsticky kind of, which is fine, but like their ninja abilities definitely take a back seat in this one. I mean, they still do flips and kick and punch and stuff like that, but the weapons are gone, like he was saying. And they double down on the camp. This movie really doubles down on the camp, the second movie, Secret of the Ooze, which is fine. It's just, it's not too far. Well, they touch enough on it in the first that it's not so far removed that you're like, oh man, where did this come from? But you can definitely tell that there was a pivot in tone. And even then you can tell that at this point, a lot of the stuff was made for toys.
Oh,
the toy factory.
Let us not forget merchandising.
Merchandising's starting to play a big factor in
Which is one of the things that Eastman and Laird, when they wrote the script for the second movie...
Well, they didn't write the script.
But
they had final approval over a lot of it.
But they basically wanted... a lot of the producers wanted to bring in new blood, new IP that they could get... residuals on.
Well, the story is that I think it's that they wanted, and you're not wrong, but just to expand upon it, it's Rocksteady and Bebop were introduced in the cartoon, and one person says that one of the creators, either Eastman or Laird, one of them was down to play ball and was like, yeah, fuck it, bring him in, I don't care. And it was more amenable to things, and they just check that bingo card. And the other,
Marcus uses a word he kind of understands.
Can use in context, but and the other one was a little bit more like, no, Michelangelo would never say that, this and that and the third. I think it was the writer of it, and it kind of came to an impasse. But he had a big disdain for Rocksteady and Bebop, because he was like, they're one-note characters, and they shouldn't be in the movie, and da-da-da-da-da, which the other side of that is saying that they brought in Toka and Razor, because then they would be credited with creation, so they would get a part of all the
royalties.
The royalties moving forward and residuals for creating Toka and Race.
Which essentially
it was the Jim Henson puppet studio. Which
right. But essentially they're basically the same characters in terms of, in the cartoon, Bebop and Rocksteady are two criminals who are also given mutagen or the ooze or whatever it is. Like, one of them turns into like a warthog man, the other one turns into a rhino man, and then they just basically swap those out in Secret of the Ooze for the Foot Clan kidnaps a wolf and a snapping turtle, and this basically use the same evolution process that the turtles went through to grow them into these monstrous beasts, but they have the minds of infants. So there's a lot of comedic slapstick and in terms of hulking brutes with a child's mind, and they speak in infantilisms.
Sure.
They talk like babies.
Yeah. Babies, he says. Yeah. Shredder's one of my favorite. He comes out the door, babies.
Right. Oh, they resurrect the Shredder because they have to bring him back. Right?
They kick, in the end of the first movie, they kick Shredder into a dump truck in case he...
Splinter.
Drops him into a...
Right.
Yeah.
Credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Shredder, in the first movie, fucks the turtles up.
Yeah, he does. And then he goes after Splinter, and he's dangling on the edge, and Shredder tries to attack Splinter, and he lets him go, and he falls into a garbage truck. And Casey Jones turns on the compactor, which is dark as shit. Yeah, oops. Yeah, he fucking compacts him, and he somehow survives that.
Hey, we can't hang out because we just saw you commit murder, dude.
Murder, bro. Straight up murdered that.
Ain't no
dude.
Hockey mask hiding that shame.
Yeah, that's why he's not. That's why he's not in the second movie. He's laying low for a little while. That's the canon that we're talking about.
He had to hightail it to Canada for a couple of months.
A little bit, yeah. But so Shredder comes back or whatever, and he's slightly deformed in the face. He has a couple more scars, and that's about it. They definitely lean in on the campiness, and so ultimately, I guess they bring in a different April and things like that, and the turtles are kind of like, there's no weapons, and so it's all like one-liners and being like playing with props or whatever. Yeah. Like if they hit somebody with their shell, they're yelling out like, "Bro, you got shell shocked!" Or
it's all stupid turtle puns and quippy remarks, and in a weird way, it's way more cartoonish than the cartoon ever was.
Yeah.
Because at least in the cartoons, like, they actually would, like, turtle flip and ninja kick and punch kick, like, there was actual fight sequences. Whereas this, it's all very much, like, every fight sequence can be broken down to the turtles are doing a mission, the Foot Clan shows up, the turtles use... slapstick comedy battle scenarios to win over, and then more Foot show up, and then they have to leave.
And then they escape. They'll live to fight another day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Raphael, they double down on all the beats that work. Raphael, again, comes to an impasse. Mm-hmm. He actually, I will say this, though. You give Raphael shit because it's easy to be like, and maybe this is just me defending him because he's my favorite. He's the best. But in this movie, ultimately, they want to go figure out what's going on with the ooze, and stuff like that, and so they're like, is Shredder back? Whatever, and Leonardo is ultimately like, he does nothing about it. Ultimately, he's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, we'll figure it out. We're laying low for a reason. And Raphael's like, yeah, fuck that. So he takes Kino, who actually should get the underrated performance of the week. What is his name? Eddie Reyes Jr.
Eddie Reyes Jr. Yep.
Ernie Reyes. Yeah, Ernie Reyes. Sorry about that. Yeah. Google
Ernie
him.
Hudson?
Yeah, Ernie Hudson. Either way, Google him real quick. He has quietly had a wonderful career. He's the guy in The Rundown with the Rock movie.
But also, he's Kino.
He's Kino, he's Kino. He was also doubled as one of the stunt doubles for the Donatello suit.
That's right, in the original.
Yeah, so he was the dude in the suit. He's the fucking man, though. He's the young pizza boy who makes his entrance in this movie, who's very headstrong and full of karate himself.
Did I mention I study martial arts?
Yeah. He infiltrated.
one of the greatest introductions of like, and we know his whole backstory now.
Pretty much. And really what it is they're rebuilding the Foot Clan. Mm-hmm. And so he mentions something because he finds out about the turtles' existence. And so they say, oh, well, I can infiltrate the Foot Clan as they're looking for... The word on the street is that they're looking for martial artists all over the city.
Young teenagers, martial arts,
Especially teenagers, he says.
Yeah.
And so he infiltrates the Foot Clan, and Leonardo was like, no, don't do that. And Raphael's like, that's actually a really good idea. Let's do that.
Right.
I'll go with you.
And then they have that really great scene during the training sequence, like Kino, not Kato. That's the Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Kino fights his way up through the ranks to like through the whole elimination process or through the whole trial process, and then the test comes where Saito, who is Shredder's second-hand man, brings him in and he shows him this dummy that's got it's basically got 1,000 bells like just decorated on it.
Not 1,000, but like these jingle bells all over it.
I mean,
so it's a fair amount of them.
It's more than 2.
Yeah, it's a lot of them. Yeah.
And he gives him the task of you have to remove all of them without making a single sound. And oh, by the way, and he holds up a smoke bomb. And he's like, and we do it in darkness or in concealment, and throws the smoke bomb. Raphael, who has been watching this whole time, then sneaks in through the smoke, and all you hear is like smash cut to the smoke clears, and Kino's just holding an armful of bells. He's got every single one off the suit, and he's like, "Is this enough?"
That's some gangster shit. That
it was. But again, it's a really good way to like show the ninja ability without actually like resorting to violence.
Yeah. You're right. They do that a lot, but it's weird. They don't mind Kino doing.
Sorry, I told that story in order to highlight how they're trying to take away from the violence. Yeah,
they still do ninja shit, and even Kino, they still kick a good amount. Like,
well, he can do violence.
Yeah, he can do violence, but apparently the turtles can't
because he's Asian.
Oh, that's what that is. Yeah. But no, again, they double down on the same beats. It's like Raphael gets captured, and then they walk into a trap and must fight Toka and Razor and stuff, and it's whatever.
The revelation of Shredder as the main bad guy, like, oh, he's back, Yeah,
he is back, and Donatello being the smart. That's when they kind of pivot to him being the smart one again, or they're starting to develop that again of him being the brainiac kind of nerd dude. He's like, if I was to plan a trap, given the layout of this dump and the geographical advantages that I might have, I would spring a trap right about, and the lights come on. Right. Yeah, it's like. So he's kind of that dude.
Well, and then later he's working with the TGIF scientist.
Yeah.
Where
on delicious chicken wing formulas.
No, he works with the scientist. I can't remember his name, but he was the second in command on the Titanic.
Whatever. I don't know. We're not going to Google it.
We're not going to Google it. You know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're not. You do your own
research.
Watch the movie. But anyway, he's doing research with the scientist guy, the TGIF scientist, and they work out a reverse formula for the ooze in order to defeat Toka and Razor. So we see that he's mechanically minded, he's engineering minded, he's architecturally minded. Like, he's turning into the uber geek. And Michelangelo definitely, like, I think he has a whole like skateboarding sequence where he's riding through and nunchucking people and
Yep.
So they're leaning way more into the more radical elements of the Turtles' personalities.
Yeah, they are. They are. They've kind of pivoted, and they're starting. They kind of like they're doing in the MCU now, where the comics are starting to imitate the movies.
Yes,
which, in my opinion, is kind of a bad idea, but that's a whole different podcast.
I mean, it's all about synchronicity. You got to link up all aspects of your IP.
I get it, but at the same time, let them be different because you can tell different stories. But here nor there. But this movie starts to kind of congeal along with the cartoon a little bit more in the sense of their personalities that they have in the cartoon that people are more familiar with. Mm-hmm. They kind of like, we're doing that and not necessarily. Which, even then, they still keep some of it, like, you can tell that Donatello and Mikey are still probably the closest,
the most similar.
Bunch.
Right.
Like
and as much as they hate to admit it, Raphael and Leonardo are like, it's almost like they're so similar that they still can't get along. It's two A-type personalities that just are never going to be, simpatico.
Yeah. But this movie's iconic for a lot of ways. Like, again, as a kid...
Oh, you're talking about Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Vanilla Ice is in this, and this is the...
We got Iced. He's gonna do a rap. Are you talking about Ice Cube, Ice T? No, Vanilla.
Vanilla Ice. Who was coming off of his insane mixtape, or actually studio album, To the Extreme.
Mike like a van.
That's the name of the album, though. Yeah, it's To the Extreme. So they kept him and some of that hotness brought in Some of that hot Vanilla Ice verbiage.
Did one of the best mid-90s raps that I remember from my childhood. Go Ninja, Ninja Rap.
Yeah, go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Ninja, Ninja, Rap, Ninja. And yeah, his flow is on point, let's just say, the whole time. Both of these movies, like the way that they depict teenagers, is like this, it is so freaking 90s. Like
just angsty.
Oh my god, it oozes 90s.
Whatever, Dad, you don't understand me, Dad.
And like the way that they're like, what's cool? They're like, skateboarding, graffiti, smoking. Like it's like if you were to like have a checkbox of like what's some marketing. Like, what is cool these days?
Oh, no.
What they thought was cool is everything that is in these movies.
It's not like they asked a bunch of teenagers what's cool.
No, it's what they saw.
They asked the parents, what are your teenagers into? I don't know, smoking, Vanilla Ice.
Both the movies are
this one likes skateboarding a little bit. He reads this Tony Hawkish magazine.
They say...
Tony
Hawkish. They say tubular and radical. And like, no one I was alive during that time. We only talk like that because the Ninja Turtles talk like that.
Or in reference to the Ninja Turtles. Yeah. There was never a point where you're like, yo, dude, I totally just got an A on my chemistry exam. Radical, tubular. Yeah. Like, it never happened. Never. Ever.
So yeah, it's people
man, it was usually like, oh man, I fucked up that test. Like, yeah, bro, yeah, you did.
Even as a kid, like, awesome was a big word. I mean, but, even like, it's so funny how we bastardize things. Like, even words like that, of like, awesome. Back in the day, it was described as like, Zeus's awesome roar shook the mountains. And I was like, bro, those cheese fries are awesome. Right? Like, we just bastardize everything. Right. So no different in the 90s. So maybe it is more accurate than I think. Maybe it is. Gonna do some research on that one. The vernacular of the 90s. A take by Marcus.
But no,
they lean. It's everything is campy. Even like what they depict is cool. Yeah. Like the haircut. I mean, it's very like of its times. But
so much. It's very much the MTV generation version of the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's frosted tips and fringe and cut off jeans and etc. etc. Like it's a marketing wonder.
Yeah. No, but it's. I don't want to spend too much time on it. The Super Shredder's pretty rad.
Shout out to Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Big Sexy himself.
Big Sexy. Which is funny.
Don't turn your back on the wolf pack.
He's talking about a wrestling reference. So there's 3 or 4 of your bingo card. Somebody's winning today.
Somebody hit some bingo.
Call us up. Send us an email at whatchabeenwatchingpodcast@gmail.com. Also, shout out to Kesta for the music at the beginning. Sorry about the plug, lack thereof. But yeah, send us an email.
Also, Facebook.com/Dudley Bros Podcast.
Yep, look for the fun, colorful banner done by the great MKD art.
Plugs.
Yeah, plugs done. Sorry about that. Little pivot. We forgot to do it at the beginning. But yeah, super campy. They really lean into it. The Super Shredder makes his official appearance who became lore in the video games and stuff like that. Shredder eventually gets transformed by the ooze himself and is only in the movie for like 3 minutes. He crashes down a dock and then it comes crashing down on him. And that's the end of him. And that's it.
I mean, literally, Leonardo goes and pleads with the Super Shredder and says, "Stop! You're gonna kill us all!" And he lifts him up by the shell, I guess, or by the lapels, even though he's not wearing a shirt. And is like, "So be it," and throws him and starts smashing the dock. And then, of course, they all survive because they're on a dock and they're turtles and they can hide in their shells and swim underwater. And Super Shredder dies. So that's the end of the Shredder.
Yeah, and
that's a direct quote.
That's the end of the Shredder. That is. And they say like, well, let's resort to our natural habitat or something like that. And so they go be turtles. And at the end,
you forget we're turtles.
Yeah. And at the end, the great line of, "I've said it before and I'll say it again. Man, I love being a turtle," which is a great line. And then they do a callback at the end of the first movie. Splinter makes a joke, and he's not a comedic person.
Right.
And they all look at him kind of crooked. He's like, "I made a funny," and then the credits roll. And at the end of this movie, the same thing. He makes a joke, and he's like, "I made another funny."
Freeze frame roll
freeze
credits.
frame as they're doing backflips. I don't know, man. Point being, the movie, it pivots in tone a lot. I still enjoy the second movie a lot. I mean,
me too.
The nostalgia of it, there's definitely a difference.
It definitely doesn't swing so wild as the third one. It's kind of more of the same of the first, which for better or worse, like, yeah, I'm all about that. And it expands the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles world, the cinematic universe, just a little bit, just enough to, like, give you a little bit more and a little bit deeper understanding. Again, they make advancements on the animatronics and on the suits themselves, so people are more mobile, so you get a lot more range of motion. I will say the first movie tried to cover a lot of the problems of the animatronics and the suits in a lot of, like, heavy shadows and contrapposto, I think is the word I'm looking for.
Sure.
Anyways, but, like, if the animatronics don't automatically match up with ADR, it was hidden in, like, shadows and shades and contrast of light and dark.
Oh, I think they just stopped giving a shit.
The second one is much more brightly lit, and they definitely just stopped giving a shit. And they were just like, nope, we got it, one take, we're good.
We're gonna dub this anyways.
Right.
Like, no, right. Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on that. You can see the improvements in not only the suits but the animatronics. Which, I mean, the movie opens up with the title card in memory of Jim Henson.
Yeah.
So, like,
also shout out to
big shout out to Jim Henson. You're responsible for
Dark
so
Crystal,
much. Everyone's
the Muppet Show,
like,
Sesame Street, like, literally built my childhood.
Yeah,
Labyrinth. Oh my God, Labyrinth. How dare I forget?
Yeah, I mean, you're all-time Hollywood legend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it is a testament to him. It is a little bit of a love letter to what they can accomplish under his tutelage and kind of as it went into a new generation.
Mm-hmm.
So big shout out to him. The second one, I dug it though, man. It still scratches some of the similar itches, but you can definitely feel the shift tonally. Some people shit on this movie like it's obviously a cash grab.
Yes,
it is.
Of course.
It really is. But
at least it takes a valiant attempt at not just trying to be a cash grab. It actually does make an attempt to give you the beats and measures that you love and the tropes that you love. It tries to expand the world just a little bit to give you a little bit more intrigue and a little bit more of storyline and characterization.
And it is canonically, like, directly in canon with the second one. Like, not much time has passed between the first and the second.
Oh, I think it's literally like
the next day.
Yeah, like the next day. Yeah.
It couldn't be that much longer.
I mean, literally,
they're literally retreating. The Foot Clan is literally retreating to the dump because they were like, "This is the fallback plan. This is what the Shredder told us to do." And the
Shredder emerges from the dump pile. So,
yeah, but they apparently that was their fallback plan.
So, however long the space of the movies takes place between however long it took Shredder to survive being compacted in the back of a dumpster to being dumped out on a Staten Island dump.
So the fog machine that they use there is awesome in that shot. They have a sweeping shot of just trash with fog rolling in like the moors of fucking Scotland. And you see the Shredder hand pop up again. It's rad as fuck, dude. Shout out to whoever fucking composed that shot, because that shit was awesome. I didn't notice, like, damn, they fucking dropped some coin on this one.
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, the movie ultimately suffers from...
You can feel it's being rushed, obviously.
Well, from every sequelization, it's always, we need it done in less time with less money. Like, I think the budget went from, $20 million was the first one, and then it dropped to like 16.5 for the second.
Well, it was 13.5 was the first one, and 16.5 was the second one. So, and you can tell where it went, but they said that they were allowed 20. In the interview I read at Den of Geek, it was saying that they say that it was 20 million. He's like, it was like 16.5. Like, okay. And we had much less time.
I mean, maybe 20 million with like advertising and
but it wasn't
publicity and stuff like that.
Publicity. On the, are you done talking about 2? Because we got to talk 3 real quick.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can say. Like I said, it's more of the first, which is fine. At least it's not the third one where they swang so wildly and went in such a different direction and just sort of homogenized it. And like, as much as the second one was a cash grab, the third one was a definite cash grab because they shot it specifically so that they could market it to a Japanese market.
Yeah.
Like, which is why it takes place in feudal Japan and deals with time travel, because they were trying to... At the time, they thought like that was the emerging market, like much like China is now.
Well, it's kind of, if you look historically at Japan, I'm not saying this in a fucked up way, but like their love for things have been like rubber suits and things like that, whether it be Godzilla or monster movies or whatever. Like,
but they also
it must have done well on the first and second movie in that market for them to to do this.
But again, to make it so specifically Japanese in terms of, I mean, they bring in, you know, classic Japanese actors, and it's very much in the almost Ronin sort of Akira Kurosawa in a comic book sort of fashion way. Like it's almost like if you were going to do a parody of Akira Kurosawa, this would be the movie that you would do.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah. We're talking about the great Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time, where literally they go back to feudal Japan.
1603.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it opens on, 1603. So, and it's, I mean, you could probably...
Which, by the way, credit where credit's due, the opening sequence of watching the samurai ride over the hill with the red rising sun, and it's all...
silhouette?
Yeah, silhouette. It's very,
it's very...
It's very, very Akira Kurosawa, and I understand, like, if the rest of the movie had been that, it would have been great. But it's definitely not.
They
get rid of that whole aesthetic really quickly.
Yeah, they double down or triple down, I guess, because the second one they doubled down, so this would be tripling down on the slapstick in this one.
Yeah.
And it's... I'll say this, I've only seen this movie, I think, like twice as a kid that I remember. Mm-hmm. And I remember it being like, it's not... As a kid, you still kind of enjoy things.
Sure.
And so I remember it not being that good. I remember I was like, I'd much rather watch the first one again or the second one again.
Sure.
But I think I saw 3 like 2 times. I know I saw it in theaters and I was kind of like, and then I think I saw it on home video. Probably much more than 2, but like I remember it not like really wowing me. But it is what it is. Also, the bar was really high between 1 and 2. Like right. 1 and 2 were my shit. Like I was the target audience. I fucking played Ninja Turtles on the trampoline. Like everyone was a Ninja Turtle back then.
Right. Now, do you think that it's just that you didn't like the third one because you grew out of it, or is it because it was? I don't want to say bad, but like it was so different than the other two that like it disenfranchised you a little bit, or is it a combination of both?
I think it is. That's a good question. I think it is a little bit of a combination of both, and the fact that I remember it, like I like them being in New York, and I like them like they're. That's the whole thing of them is like they're New York tough and da-da-da. And I think it is though, because it was something different. Mm-hmm. And I understand like you got to milk it for what it's worth. So like, oh, we're going to do the same premise, but in Japan this time. Let's see what wacky adventures they can get into in feudal Japan. I don't think I knew the word for it back then, but I'm trying to do this without the gift of hindsight, but it's kind of hard not to.
Sure.
I remember like I didn't have the word for it, but I felt like it was kind of corny.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind it being corny, but it was just like, and I think maybe I was a little bit older. It came out in 93? So I was just out of kindergarten.
Oh, also directed by who?
It's directed by. I'm sorry, written and directed by Stuart Gillard.
Okay,
so
just wanted
writer director credits. Shout out to you. Not shitting on your art. Obviously, I saw the movie, supported it. Just saw it again. There's
yeah.
So like he's gonna listen to this podcast. Everyone will.
I mean,
if they don't already,
he's one of the legions apparently.
Like he must be. But yeah, I think it was a combination of all those things, man. And like I said, they definitely doubled and tripled down on the wackiness.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just like, it just didn't really get me like the first one.
This is where we were talking about earlier how they sort of blend all of the turtles into one personality. And like, in the original movie, like we mentioned how like, when Casey Jones calls Raph a freak, it had to be Raphael.
Yep.
Like that. In this movie, in the third one, you could almost replace any scenario any of the turtles are in with any other turtle, and it wouldn't change the movie. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't matter what happens to what turtle or who says what. They're all just sort of homogenized, wisecracking party dudes a little bit.
And then what their personality becomes so one note.
Yeah.
Like somebody says something to Raphael when he's in the samurai mask. And somebody's like, oh, move you bloke, or whatever like that. And he's like, did you hear what he calls him? Sewer trash or something. He calls him something mean.
Right.
And Raphael's like, ooh, why I oughta.
Yeah.
And it has, and he turns into, like we were saying, the 40-year-old union worker down by the docks in that moment. You're like, what the fuck? Like, and he goes outside. He's like, nature, it's so naturey, you know it. Like, yeah, they all become very one note, and Donatello becomes very, like, even geekier in this one. Michelangelo doubles. He comes back when they transport back in time. Michelangelo naturally is riding the horse backwards, and he's like, "Oh, mine doesn't even have a head, bro.
Right.
Like, where am I going? Whoa, who turned?" His thing falls over his head. He's like, "Who turned out the lights?"
His helmet gets knocked over his eyes, and he's like, "Oh, who turned out the lights?"
So it's immediately.
It's very. It is very much
and
like
Leonardo becomes very wet blanket in this one. He's like, "Guys!" Like, I was like, "All right." So they try so hard to make their personalities distinct just by words and things that it all just becomes kind of like, eh. And then, like, during other scenes, like Michael was saying, like, you could interject them freely. Like,
yeah.
Michelangelo happens to be the one that gets captured, but it makes
it
no
doesn't
difference.
matter. It could have been Donatello, Raphael,
it's-
like, it doesn't ultimately matter. Like, every single one of them has a justification for, like, oh, that's why it would happen to that turtle, because they're all the same.
Yeah. So I will.
It's not bad. Like, it's a cash grab, and it's you could tell that, like, as far as it goes, they were putting less effort into this one than they were for anything else. But I kind of feel like that was the point, that they, like, I don't know. I feel like the producers sort of understood that, like, all right, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel on this one, so let's just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And we can walk out gracefully, and if it costs us, like 17 million or whatever it may be, and we make 23 million, we win.
It was a $21 million budget, made $54.4 million.
Oh,
so they got their money back.
Absolutely. Yeah, but absolutely.
Like you were saying, it is what it is. And you can tell that the animatronics, like the movement of the suit, they finally got it right. They open up when you first are introduced to the turtles. They're doing flips, and they actually do a little bit of, whoever's in the suit does a little bit of legit kung fu and like staff play as Donatello. Like, he whips the thing around his neck.
And Michelangelo is whipping the nunchucks around, and you see Leonardo, doing, butterflying his swords and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
and Raphael's got technique with the sai and shit now.
The range of motion on the suits themselves is notable, but also
they're a little thinner and trimmer.
They're a little thinner and trimmer, but also the animatronics, like, have much more facial expressions.
The eyes are a little buggier now.
But I will say, as good as the animatronics operate, whoever they got to chose to be the puppeteers of that missed the mark, because it's almost like
we're gonna dub this anyways. Who cares?
Yeah. It's almost like they gave them more range of motion, but they cared less about making it look good.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like really weird, wild facial expressions that don't match what the ADR is saying at the time.
You know how, like, Barney will do, like, his mouth doesn't move, but he does, like, grand motions of, like,
right.
when he's talking and bobbing his head. It's kind of like that, where it just takes it out, where you're like, nobody would say what they're saying and do that range of motion. Like,
right.
I understand, Barney, you're playing into it because you're a dude in a suit who doesn't.
But again, yeah.
Like, same thing here. It's like, you wouldn't talk like that and be like, oh, with your head and this and that, and like.
Yeah. They're constant, like, they look like bobbleheads. They're constantly, like, the face is constantly in motion, so that you never notice that, like, the lips aren't quite, although they're showing more range of motion, and they're blinking eyes, and they're narrowing their view, or smiling or whatever, like,
more expressive,
definitely more expressive, but like still the motions don't match up, so it's almost like, okay, cool, we got that on one take, move on, we'll match it in ADR, don't worry about it, the voiceover guy will get it.
And they also, all the turtles are quipping constantly. If they're not on screen but they're in the scene itself, you hear them in the background constantly. Which, as I've said before on this show, I do love me some bad ADR, so it did kind of help me a little bit here.
As someone who never shuts the fuck up, it's way too much.
Ultimately, I'll say this. When I went back and saw this movie, as opposed, like, I remember it now, like, as an adult or in the past recently, being like, oh, Ninja Turtles 3 sucks. And then, like, I watched it now, and I don't know where I filled the gap in, because now that I think about it, as a kid, I remember not liking it like as much, because again, 1 and 2 were really dear to my heart, and I thought maybe like, all right, it's kind of played its course by now. But I mean, I was still into the Ninja Turtles, but like this iteration of them has run its course by now. So like, I didn't hate it as a kid, but like as I got older, I filled in the blanks of me not seeing it with, oh, that movie sucks. And so I went back and watched it, and I'll say this, it's not as bad as I had made it out to be.
Sure.
So I guess I remember it being dog shit. It's not dog shit. It's not. But again, I was right in the sense of compared to the other two.
Well, because there's
definitely missed the mark.
Yeah, there's such a tonal shift between the second and third one. Like, and even compared to the first one, like the third one is way more wacky, zany, cartoony. It's definitely like a faster pace. Like there's a certain aspect of they don't just let things sit like they do in the first one. You know, like when Splinter gets captured and we watch the turtles come into their sewer lair and seeing the destruction and the chaos. And there's a couple of establishing shots of seeing like everything's in disarray and there's a little bit of blood in the corner or like dirty sheets or whatever. And then we see their reaction. And even though the animatronics aren't as capable and as advanced as they did get later, you still read the emotion on the turtle's face and you see all of their reactions.
And the tone matches.
Yeah. Right.
There's a whole scene in the first movie where it kind of, April narrates for just a bit. And it's when they escape to the farm upstate.
And she's doing her diary.
Yeah, and they're doing her diary, and they kind of fill in the blanks of what every turtle's been going through and the trauma that they're experiencing from losing, ultimately, their father in Master Splinter. Mm-hmm. And she's saying that, like, and this is kind of where you see Donatello begin to develop his own personality a little bit. Like I said, they hint at him being kind of geeky.
Right.
He goes and fixes the truck with Casey Jones.
Right.
Those two kind of bond together because that's what Donatello does, is in his moments of strife or whatever, he reaches out to someone else as a lesson. Because again, he
constantly
is by far
looking for connection.
Yeah, he is the most self-actualized of the turtles. Like naturally,
almost in like a. He's almost afraid to face anything himself. He always needs a sidekick or somebody to like judge where he's at in any given situation. Like, as long as we're going through this, I can do it.
Right, and that's fine. But and April has this dialogue about like. And Donatello's begun to handle this in his own special way. Mm-hmm. And it kind of shows like Donatello is more than just the sidekick to Mikey and he is very much so his own person. And Michelangelo, he's like, and he deals it within his own silly way. And she's drawing pictures of him and like says, and Raphael, surprisingly, after saying that like, he told Raphael like, go ahead, run off, we don't need you. And then he almost dies. And it shows him sitting by the bathroom door.
Talking about Leonardo.
Yeah, Leonardo, I'm sorry. Leonardo sitting by the bathroom door as Raphael recovers.
Oh, on constant vigil.
Yeah, on constant vigil. And he's just sitting there.
Like he hasn't left his side.
Yeah, not once. And it's a very real moment. And you kind of, like you were saying earlier, it captures the tone of everything as it pivots to, as you see the turtles through someone else's eyes.
Sure.
This movie, the third one, like lacks any of that. Two does away with that pretty quickly. You get a couple insights of those in their dialogue with Splinter. Mm-hmm. But like 3 is just kind of like Splinter's not even in it. Yeah. Like, he's back in New York and they've like mitigated him to like, or relegated him, one of the two. To
both work. Sure,
yeah. He's like he looks like somebody out of fucking Mr. Rogers, like in when he sticks his head. The Conductor.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
The Wonderful World of Make-Believe?
Yes, thank God. Dude, I couldn't think of that.
I was like, what?
He looks like an animatronic in there because all you see is from his top half up and he's just hanging out the window. God, it took me a long way to get there. Sorry. Yeah, and he's just like hanging out the top window of the subway car and like you never see him outside of that. And he looks good, but he doesn't do shit else besides that.
Right.
And he looks like somebody that like, again, Mr. Rogers would kind of peel back and be like, let's talk to Master Splinter. And there he is, like, or like a Chuck E. Cheese fucking...
Yeah, and in a weird way, like I was mentioning before, like how the ADR doesn't quite match up with the facial expressions. Like, it's like they got really, really good Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, but like they're just running through the motions and all you hear is the recorded voice of being like, "Hi kids, we're glad to have you here at our show today."
Right. And like in the first one when Shredder had Splinter chained up.
Yeah.
And he was all wet and shit. It looked like, man, like he's been torturing the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's not blood or anything, but you're like, man, this is graphic, whatever this dude's going through.
Oh, yeah. It's
so again, like, less, the animatronics weren't as good, but they did more with what they had. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And 3 is just kind of like, yeah, we have better range of motion, but we're just going to not utilize any of this. We don't care anymore. And we don't respect you as an audience. So
fuck your turtle dreams.
So okay, anything else you want to bring up on 3 or?
No, man. I think that covers it, man. We've been hitting it pretty hard.
Okay.
So.
Review Ninja Turtles 1. What do you give it?
Ninja Turtles 1. I'm gonna give it at least a solid 12-inch pepperoni pizza with mushrooms, green onions, and sausage on top.
And no anchovies.
No anchovies. If you put anchovies on this thing, I swear to God.
Yeah. All right, Turtles 2. What do you review it?
Turtles 2, I'm going to give it a 16-inch Hawaiian pizza, but the dough's a little bit undercooked, and it's
mushy.
a little, yeah. Like they definitely should have let it cooked in the brick oven for at least another like 2 to 5 minutes.
I'll go ahead and review Turtles 3, Turtles in Time for us. It's a calzone.
I was just going to say that.
It's a stromboli. But you didn't order a stromboli. You ordered like a personal pan pizza. And
but it's cheaper.
You're like, I'll eat the stromboli because I'm hungry. But I didn't really order a stromboli or a calzone.
Yeah.
So, app reviews all the way around.
Yeah. Turtles 3 is definitely like the delivery service got your order fucked up.
Like, fuck, I'm not calling them back.
Yeah. Shit, it's already 11 o'clock. I'm not worried about it. It's all right.
Well, as I look at our half-empty bottle of Courvoisier...
Oh, it seems we are out of time.
It seems we are out of time. We thank you very much for tuning in our review and breakdown of a franchise that is dear to both of our hearts, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles saga. May the Turtles live on. As always, I'm checking out his MD3 for the marvelous Mike D. As always, please go watch a movie.
And talk about it with somebody that you love.
Cowabunga!